Thank you for joining us today on This Could Be It. We take this title seriously, although some people may not believe us. We do believe that there is power in thinking about the idea that this moment could be it. And by it, we mean, right? So we're tackling death, the end of our journey, the end of our run. Our luck runs out. We take our last breath, our last of the snows of Kilimanjaro. What does that do for us when we make jokes about it? I'm Mike Steger. I'm a professor of psychology, director of the Center for Meaning and Purpose. Sometimes people let me talk on stage. It's a little unpredictable, but trust me, it's a good time. As opposed to my extremely professional co-host. Tell us about yourself, Jodi.
And I'm Jodi Wellman, and I'm your co-host, in case you didn't know. And I am a speaker and author talking about memento mori, which is the Latin phrase that means remember we must die. My mission in life is to get us to remember that. And so let's just talk about that today, should we? And then, forevermore. But are you ready, Mike? Are you feeling, you made that sound a minute ago. It sounds like you're warmed up and ready with sound effects to talk about death?
Sanguine about death. We all know sanguine,
really?
right? Comes from bloodiness.
Mm-hmm.
And weirdly enough, if you're extra bloody, you're extra healthy and happy in the old Greek humors approach. So let's let the blood flow in this beautiful memento mori.
Wow.
Mike and
The
Jodi, this could
bloodletting.
be.
Episode 3. This is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, we do feel like we've addressed why is it so hard to live in this modern world. Solved that. I mean, we solved it after we pressed end record. We talked about why are people feeling so much pressure to search for purpose. We solved that also after we pressed stop record. Now we're going to solve death. We're going to probably take a few swings at this, I'm guessing.
Well, yeah, because this is the topic that I think, it'll take a lot of pontificating and ruminating and catastrophizing to get to the bottom of it all. And today, specifically, we were talking about how thinking about it is so useful.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, do you think people need to be sold on the idea that thinking about mortality?
Absolutely. Now, Jodi, I wanted to impress you today, unlike every other day.
Yeah.
I mean, I always want to impress you, but today I'm going to.
What's going to happen?
I got my Lucretius out, everybody.
Dear God.
I mean,
All right.
run. I mean, Lucretius.com better get ready because the run on books, once I get rolling with this quote, is going to be fearful.
I'm afraid already.
You're not going to be able to find a copy of Now, sometimes you see this on the nature of things, on the nature of the universe, on the nature of stuff. I've never seen that one, but this one's translated as on the nature of the universe. And are you ready to hear what
Barely.
Lucretius has to say?
Let me just hold on to my hat. Okay, go.
I mean, this is why we need this episode more than ever, Jodi, because in 100 AD Rome or something like that,
Yeah.
Lucretius was nailing it. Greed and blind lust for fame, moreover, which compel men to transgress the bounds of law and oftentimes make them allies and ministers of crime, strive night and day with toil and sweat to gain the heights of power. These wounds of life, in no small part, are fed by eyes, everyone. For 'tis the common view that shameful scorn and bitter poverty are far removed from a sweet and stable life, and, as it were, are simply lingering before the gates of death, from which, when men driven by groundless fear, desire to flee and to remove themselves far, far away, by civil strife they make wealth for themselves and heap up riches, murder upon murder piling in greed. Brother's death gives joy, a kinsman's board supplies both hate and fear. By similar reasoning, born of the same fear, envy consumes them. That he before their eyes gets power is known, parades in pomp and show, while they the while in darkness and in filth lie wallowing. That's their complaint, you see. Some die to get a statue and a name, and often, too, crazed by the fear of death, such hate of life and light possesses them that their own deaths they plan with sorrowing heart, forgetting that this fear begets their woes.
Okay, first question. Were you a theater kid?
uh, once, but not the
Okay.
cool kind where everyone's like making out backstage. It was I selected poorly for that. I could have really used that in high school. But I was in a uh, one act play, which was between cross country season and track season, and I quit swimming that year to do this one act play because it was Oedipus Rex.
Ah,
And I tried out for Tiresias, the blind prophet, because I thought I could remember that few lines. It was all male cast. We wore togas and sandals and wooden masks. It was like by the books. Um, that was me one time. And I rushed my lines quite badly.
okay.
And it was
Yeah,
a very
and
terrible performance, but we still got accolades because everyone else was actually knew what they were doing. I was the
you
tallest though, that's for sure.
claim to fame.
Yeah.
Okay, so your theater career did end, but I think it's back now based on what we just
Really?
heard. I think we were thinking collectively that you have some merit in, like, maybe a one-man show. But
The
second question,
Is that
what
like a
made you
banjo? Is that the one with the banjo, the accordion, and the, like, cymbal on your back with the foot pedal? Is that
and don't forget your ventriloquist puppet somehow
Yeah.
makes us makes the show.
I mean,
So,
Rocco.
what made you what in God's name possessed you to choose that quote?
What are you talking about?
No, I'm not being facetious. I really mean it. Like, because you could have
I
chose.
read it and
I
I
have 2
thought of
quotes today.
you.
I didn't choose Lucretius.
Well, I was reading Lucretius anyways, and then he goes off on it. Nails it, really.
Yeah. What part? I guess what I'm getting at, it was rife with meaning. Lots there. Was there something
Yeah,
that grabbed you in that quote?
yeah. Impress Jodi. That was what I
Mm,
was going for.
okay. Well, check
Also,
mark. Mhm.
like, why read a book like Lucretius if you're not gonna tell people that you're reading a book like Lucretius? Let that subtly drop. But no, so so here's what he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just because I read it so dramatically doesn't mean I made it make any sense at all. So he's talking about all the wounds of life that are fed by the fear of death.
Mhm.
Right? The fear of death actually wounds us. It causes crime. It causes greed and blind lust for fame. It makes us want to murder our brothers and steal our kinsman's house and hearth, right? And it makes us want to have statues like
Mm,
that'll last beyond us
mm,
or whatever insane things Silicon Valley billionaires are trying to think up to be immortal at this point, right? And then, like that, when we consider this fear can drive us to envy and greed and murder and crime and even the fear of death driving us to suicide because it all seems futile.
mm.
Well, why are you making us think about it then, Jody? If this is
Yeah.
what's going to happen, murder upon murder. What is that
Yeah.
line? That line's so cool. Murder
Yeah.
upon murder piling in greed.
Yeah, that felt
Jesus,
very
right?
pile up, like a lot of bodies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it does sound like, well, you've already hinted at, you've said the fear of death causes us to do these things. And so the research shows if you shine a spotlight on the fear, then there's something cool that can come out of that, right? Then
Yeah,
we're able to
a tech
go,
company. You create a
but
tech company that uses AI to track all the citizens of where you live.
you've nailed
Or
it.
not.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done. We're
Thank
gonna get
you.
serious now.
Thank you. No, very serious. Well, the irony of this whole topic, I think, is it's just it's oozing that the thing we're really deep down afraid of, even if we're consciously, we don't really want to admit that or talk about it because, like, we're not thinking it's death. That's so obscure. It's so abstract. But deep down, it does drive us to murder and pile up bodies, etc. And yet, by not talking about it, that's something that actually fuels the fire. Like by not going there.
Okay.
So here is where we're going to be, the gift to humanity by getting us to be like, should we? Yeah, we should absolutely talk about it because also it just happens to be empirically based, which is kind of cool too.
Okay. Well, you
Yeah,
so you agree with Lucretius then that the fear of death can cause people to do all sorts of kooky things.
completely. Because I also think that there are the existential psychologists who kind of nailed that too and said, wait, that the avoidance of it only does the pile on, not of the bodies, but of the fear.
It's
Yeah.
fun though, right? Knowing that 2,000 years ago,
Yeah.
this person was writing this letter to some Roman politician trying to make it poetic so that it's like there's this great metaphor they have. And this is what you do too, Jody. Honey on the rim of the cup, right? Because the medicine inside is bitter, so children wouldn't drink it. So they put honey on the rim of the cup. And then he uses that in two ways. One, if you put honey on the rim of the cup, it kind of sticks, right?
Yeah.
But then it also tastes sweet. And so it lets the bitter truth go down more sweetly.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I do that by doodling the Grim Reaper. That's my technique. If you can make him seem like a winning character you could kinda maybe have a beer with.
Hi.
So f
Hi. Grim
Right,
Reaper. I heart Grim Reaper. That's what you're doodling?
totally.
Grim Reaper plus Jody.
Yay! True love even if destroyed. Yeah. So that is the honey on the rim of the death cup.
The
I
doodle.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a quote for you that I
Please.
found on the interweb by hang on, I can't even read the name.
Kenny Loggins, you're looking for that's Kenny Loggins, right?
God, let's just say it's Kenny Loggins.
We are all on a highway. What
But
like
I prefer it in more of like a melodic tune.
okay.
Glenn Ring I can't even read my writing. Glenn Ring something TVED that doesn't make sense. But what would life be worth if there were no death? Who would enjoy the sun if it never rained? Who would yearn for the day if there were no night? And then a guy by the name of Ido Landau said, "We are lucky then to have death. Death is what allows life to be meaningful." This
Mm.
idea that it's because of that stark contrast of we take things for granted because as humans, we're assholes,
Oh
right?
gosh. Wow.
Right. Yeah, I took it there. You seem
Mhm.
surprised. But doesn't it seem
That was my
strange?
thing. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm taking over your persona.
Only I think humans are assholes. That's right. I'm the one person.
Yep. But isn't it a little bit entirely crazy that as humans, we consistently do this, that we take life for granted?
Yeah.
Can I could ever talk about two things, right? Okay, deep down we're afraid of it, but we're gonna la 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 push it away. We don't want to know. But then also we just keep thinking we have all this time that we know we don't rationally.
Yeah. We're really mixed up, right? I was just reading this sort of I don't remember what it was or where it came from. But, like you think about many other animals, when they finally get things pretty good, they hunker down. They're done, you know?
Mm.
Maybe not squirrels. Squirrels are
Mm.
like, they're
They
still
seem
doing
busy.
dumb things. But like, you give yourself, you're a raccoon, you've got your supply of food. You just walk that path from where you sleep to where you eat as
Yeah.
often as there's still food there. Right. But humans seem to want to mess things up a lot, don't we? Like, this was what
Oh,
drove Freud to say that we have a death drive, right?
yes.
Like,
Yeah.
we see something and it's too nice, it's too stable,
Yeah.
and we're like,
Isn't that
"What?"
Thanatos is what
Yeah.
oh, or I'm gonna say I've probably said it wrong. I
I mean, the
mispronunciate
purple
everything.
guy you talking about the purple guy from the costume movies where they fly around and kill half the universe in one snap? That guy? He's
I actu
Thanos or Thanatos is one of like, you ever saw the superhero movies where they're like, "Hiya, hiya, pew pew," and then there's, like, one guy, he's got a powerful glove. I think he's got a glove,
really?
a decorated glove like the other god of death, Michael Jackson, and he just goes like, the whole movie is like, "Don't let him snap his fingers with his gloves on," and the costume people cannot even manage to do that, right? So he snaps it, and half of all the life forms in the world, at least the
Die.
people, die, just vanish, right? Even Spider-Man, I think. Think about that.
Okay. We need to clearly reserve a separate episode for that. Like, I need to
Yeah.
watch that and then come back to talk coherently because right now I'm just really baffled.
Yeah.
And
You're
yeah, so
you're not alone. I was super baffled by why my family made me go see that over winter break, but that's okay.
well, that was like now this isn't just a childhood thing. This is a true
No, they
2025?
didn't have, like, gloves that could kill
I
half the
see.
world back in those days.
I'm sorry, they didn't have imaginations. Okay.
No.
Uh,
All we
Yeah.
have is like sticks and boxes, cardboard boxes and sticks. Like that's not going to turn into some purple guy. Although Grimace from McDonald's is pretty scary.
Yeah, he
So
did seem close to the trans fats. So your point, though, let's not lose it, is animals have it right, whereas we, as the superior animals, we've got it wrong because we tend to mess things up. And I also think that this is back
point.
to just how sometimes we'll contradict, not just you and I contradicting, but we as humans. When things are going well and we want them to just kind of stay okay,
Mhm.
then we all know the hedonic adaptation. We just keep getting used to what's good, and then that somehow turns into this for grantedness, right? Because it's like, what is perfectly good and fine that I was grateful for maybe at one point, I'm used to now the fact that maybe I can make a living, or I've got a decent place, or I've got a decent
Yeah.
partner, or, my pillow's comfy, or all the things. And then it's just, we become like this smooshy, homogenized life now. We'll just keep going in this way versus like
So
then
true.
shaking it up, right?
Yeah, it's like we managed to get the worst of both worlds.
Yes.
We've got the laziness and craving for facile living, like
Mm,
just easy, click a button. Somebody who didn't think of clicking the button brings us a pizza, like
yeah.
click a different button. Okay, we've got a free trial to Apple TV so we can see what everyone's talking about there. I don't
Yep.
know what that would be really, but I just know I don't have Apple TV. But we did try it for free once. So if they want to sponsor us, we're back in an instant. But the we've got that lazy semi-entitled, like, there's a reason we talk about some people as being, like, hard workers, because
Mm,
the rest of us suck, like, the second we can get away with it, we'll, like, gold brick, right?
yeah.
You've got hard workers and gold bricks in the world, right? And most of us would way prefer to be a gold brick, right? But then we also have, like, that restless,
Mhm.
just just monkeying around stuff, like, pulling things apart. We're like, "Can a fly what happens if I, like, somebody did this in the world. What happens if you pull the wings off a fly? What
Mhm.
happens if you, like, stick a fork in the outlet? What happens if you, like, prank call your teacher? What happens if you, like, see if your little car can go off-roading? Like, we're just like, "What if I write my name on that statue?" Like, we're just constantly like,
Yeah.
da da da
Are
da
these
da
all
da
personal
da.
examples?
The car one, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're talking about messing things up in just the way that things are going. It's not even so much that when it's okay, because I thought you were gonna go somewhere else with it. I thought you were gonna
Like
say,
self-sabotage or something.
well, that's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the longing for more. Like even a
Yeah.
simpleton, maybe not. We could debate this.
How if you lose us, the simpleton market, on
You know
episode
what?
3, I'm gonna lose my shit, and
Hang tight, because right now the simpleton market's all we got.
I know.
Okay.
I was keeping them in the loop with Lucretius, and then here you come along and, like,
Okay.
insult them.
Well,
Listen,
if the simpleton like, it is not true that for most of us humans,
there's not even a thing called a
we're
simpleton. Let's just first of all, we have resolved this. It's just
we
people
do?
don't necessarily prefer to spend their time thinking about complicated stuff. They prefer to spend their time maybe doing complicated stuff, solving problems, driving cars off road, whatever it
Right.
is, right? Okay.
Well, and even when things are going perfectly technically fine, there's still that, "What else? Or could there be more? Or should I
Yeah.
be doing
Yeah.
something different?" Right? The
Grass is
the
always
yearning. Okay, back to wait, that quote that I made a minute ago. It's like, who would yearn for the day if there were no night? Just that like, is there something else out there, out here? So
yeah.
anyway, that's another twist where
Yeah.
I think we make life a little more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah. We talk about, I mean, the Aesop, another ancient person, does have two sides of the coin.
Mm,
But we typically talk about like the grass is always greener or the 7-year
mhm,
itch or
mm,
these like, I don't know if there's an aphorism for everything, but like, we think we want the corner office
mm,
and that therefore we should become a manager. We
mhm,
want,
hmm.
think we can imagine. a happier life in different cities. We move, or whatever it is. Like we always think that there's something different. The grass is always greener. We hardly ever think about. And I want this to catch on. The cactus is always pricklier in your neighbor's yard, or whatever it is. The grass is always greener. I don't even know how that phrase finishes, but the cactus is always pricklier, right? Let's go with that.
Ooh, that's fascinating because I
Yeah.
live in the land of cacti, so this is excellent.
Honestly, I can see one behind your shoulder. So maybe that's not quite such a flash of pure insight. But yeah, like we don't tend to think about it's funny. Like we do and we don't, right? Like a lot of us are held back by fear of rejection, fear of failure. So we don't do things that might actually transform our lives for the better.
Right.
But then do things that completely mess up our lives for the worse with
Completely
hardly a second thought. Like what is
right.
we are assholes. What is wrong with us?
Yeah, completely wired all wrong.
Wow.
And just to add to it, we put our heads in the sand when we could be using this notion of a deadline to our advantage, aka the ultimate deadline. It's like couldn't be a better word for life, the deadline.
Ah,
And
nice.
but we keep kind of meandering along, doing the dumb stuff we're going to do in between, right? Like thinking the
Yeah.
grass is greener and mucking things up. But when it really comes down to it, back to this idea of, temporal scarcity and
Mhm.
psychology and economics, like this thing, if this asset is scarce, we're going to absolutely value it way more than we would if we just thought it could keep going forever. Right.
Yeah.
And so if this is the back to our nature of the conversation, like if we tune into that, if we're willing to have just a little bit of discomfort to face the grave facts,
Yeah.
then what could that do to help us manage how we think of things? Would we be more inclined to think that the cactus might be pricklier and to be grateful for what we have? Would we
Yeah.
be more inclined to say, no, actually, that my grass is a little bit shoddy and yellow and I do want to go over here and here's why? Or maybe I just want to finally fucking fertilize my own yard.
Yeah. Just
Got
go
really
start growing the
violent about
bathroom out in the backyard. That's what everybody does. Yeah.
hot tip.
Hot tip. Yeah. This is something we need to carefully, I think, untie because it feels tangled, right? Because on the one hand, fear of death makes us pile up bodies, murder upon murder, piling in greed. Um, and we kind of agree that when people are just like fleeing in a sort of immature or reflexive way, like the end of their life, they're like, I'm not going to think about it, like, no, 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 no. Or I'll distract myself by driving a really loud car
Mhm.
or having tawdry affairs or whatever content.
Shopping.
Yeah, stacking gold doubloons, whatever it is, all these distractions from a real life. We say that fear of death is bad. Like you're not dealing with
Mhm. Mhm.
we also have to understand scarcity, right? Like scarcity is really nothing more and nothing less, bold statement, than that the fear that we're gonna miss something important, right? It is
Mm.
true, I think. Like, what happens if I don't get to see Taylor Swift? Which I don't, just I was reading a book recently that used Taylor Swift concerts as an example. But yeah, like, there's that scarcity, getting concert tickets. There's only a certain number of seats in the stadium. This is
Mhm.
really important to me. I fear how I'll feel if I hear about my friend going, right?
Mm.
So knowing that our life is going to end, aren't you
Mhm.
also like, this is something important to you and you're going to lose it?
Mhm.
Look sharp now.
Mhm.
You should be a bit freaked out
Mhm.
more than you are right now,
Mhm.
or in a different way.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
antagonizing, and in
Yeah.
in pursuit of goodness, and I I struggle with that because that's my message, and I wanna then I find myself defensive sometimes 'cause maybe
Yeah.
I'm just around a lot of people who are very much into the abundance philosophy, and,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, great, abundance sounds amazing, I like abundance.
Doubloons for all.
More donuts.
Oh, okay. I I
Yeah,
set my sights a little higher on the gold doubloons, but I'll settle
right.
for donuts. That sounds abundance. Can't wait for that economy.
Yeah. But back to our weirdness and assholiness about being human, like we're just so problematically built because the desire for abundance or like the desire to say, well, like you as a boy, 78 years you've got roughly. You go,
More than I've got right now. I still have 78 years left is what you're saying. Yeah.
that was exactly what I said, quote
Yeah.
unquote. And you have 78 more years to live right now. And unfortunately, even you, as advanced as you are, and like the anti-simpleton in the room, you can't still feel like this like severe and innate motivation to live. In the same way, comparatively, it's that we need the pain and the unfortunate scarcity of, oh, but actually your time is ticking. And so that's why people who have near-death experiences have seen the light, and we can talk more about that some other time. That
Yeah,
is why,
definitely.
we need, I think, this, the jolt. And unfortunately, that's the whole thing, right? Of like positive is interesting, but negative is actually way more crack the whip. Unfortunately, translates to us actually behaving in ways that may be better for us.
Yeah. So we wanna be able to move in and out of different spaces, right? We wanna know well, there's another kind of scarcity. We wanna know that now is the time to do our thing,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's not always clear like, we have to do a thing now because we're about to die. So, if we just keep doing what we're doing now, that's
Mhm.
not probably good enough, right? So, it's time to do a thing now because we're aware that the clock is ticking.
Right.
Yeah. How do you figure out what that thing is?
Yeah. I love that question so much because I think that's the that's the first problem when we're so that's the first indication we've lost the plot, right?
Oh, no.
Because it's like, well, this is my favorite line that I hate the most, going through the motions.
Why do you hate it?
Well, because of what it means. Because I know I
Oh,
do that,
okay.
and so I hate the truth of it, which is,
I see.
oh, like autopilot, right? I've been just going like, back to taking things for granted, like, I've just been in this zombie zone. I'm a highly functioning zombie. Sometimes I'm not even highly functioning, let's be super duper honest,
Really?
like, I
Yeah,
just
well,
mean for zombies, like, zombie excellence, like, in productivity. Wow, like, now it is this, like, I don't know about you, but I do not have 78 years left. I have, my language counting 1,737 Mondays left, and that makes me go, right, same question, like, what do I wanna do with that? I'm
mhm,
tuned into it because I do this all the time, but I think for most of us, it is that, "Oh, I don't know how to parse out now this routine I've been on from how do I really want it to look?" And maybe that is why so many of us actually don't wanna talk about death is, and we don't. I mean,
mm,
it's safe to come up with a bucket list. Yay! We
yeah,
can all just add stuff onto, the back of a pizza box, like, "Yay, I'd love to go." Sure, add New Zealand. But I
yeah,
think that it's a little bit of like that, "Wait, what do I want?" Let alone identifying it and then being afraid to go after it. What do you think about that? Because I mean, you've studied meaning for some time now. This comes up a lot
yeah.
for you, right?
Yeah, it's interesting, like, I find myself gravitating towards an economics language, right? Like, I think we're oftentimes paralyzed by opportunity cost,
Mm,
right? Sunk cost fallacy,
mm,
right? I built this life that I have now.
mm.
You want me to just give it up and go run with the bulls in Pamplona? Like,
Yeah.
how dare you, right? There's a little bit of that, but also it's easier to recognize costs of actions we make than
Mhm,
actions we fail to take, right? So
mhm.
this is the biggest sticking point, I think. Like we know we're supposed to do something.
Yeah.
Some of the things essentially like existentially draw and quarter us, right? Like, do you remember that drawing and quartering thing? Like we haven't done that in a while. This is how it works. In case anyone wants more violence. You tie a rope around a criminal's wrists and ankles, one for each. Then you tie that rope to a horse, four horses pointing in different directions, and then you whip those horses and they'd like jolt off. And I guess that's the drawing. And then the quartering is how many pieces are left, right? So this is a visceral image.
I feel a little bit nauseous.
Yeah, I know. Horses,
Also
right?
because you said whipping the horses, that was, like, one of the
Yeah,
worst parts, but go on,
that was
please
pretty bad.
continue.
Just horses being around. I know you don't like nature, so that's probably scary for you to even contemplate. Because probably it's outside.
No, they have indoor stables.
Interesting. This is at the Equestrian Center in the Berkshires, of course. So, yeah, but I'm trying to turn up the volume. I'm all fired up about Lucretius, right? Like
Yeah.
drawing and quarterings piled upon piling and greed, right? Like, doesn't it feel a little bit like sometimes that's our fate, that we're existentially drawn and quartered? There's no
Mm.
way my
Mm.
right arm can live that life and my left leg can keep living this
Mhm.
life. And then
Mhm.
my right leg can go see what that's all about. And my left hand can be like, wow, the thing I really, really wanted to do when I was 9,
Right, right.
we don't get to do that.
Yeah, I think you're
That's
right.
not an answer, is it? That's a restating an
Yeah.
even more gruesome problem.
It's a gruesome doubling down, I get you, and I think it makes me
Quadrupling down, please.
Thank you. Not just double, we want all the limbs.
That's pretty much every single
Yeah,
one.
you've just done a nice, very visual job of reiterating, like, how we do what we do to ourselves and how we can spin ourselves in a knot and not do something. Because 'cause you're right, if it's this, "Well, I built this life or this job. Well, I've been this long in this company, and so why would I mess that up and go back to school and try my hand at, becoming a taxidermist?" For me, it
Yeah,
always comes back to taxidermy. I need a new
yeah.
example. But
For you, this is the thing. This is the market need that needs addressing by your skills.
mhm, yeah, we'll explore that for sure, maybe in a career episode.
Now that is a memento mori. Stuff,
Very
stuffed
ooh,
everything.
yeah, an animal looking back at you. "Why did you do it?" Um, so, yeah, we're destined, I think, to have trouble. I do agree with deciding, A, what do I want, but B, even when we do think about what we want, it's that, "Oh, but I've already come this far. I can't turn back." Or, um, loss aversion, right? There's, like prospect theory, like, we could work with that if you wanna talk economics, like, the whole thing of if we are more motivated by what we have to lose, like not wanting to lose something rather than gaining something of similar value.
Yeah,
So that to me is where like, okay, if we want to use our weird nature and also some economics, like let's at least apply that. Be like, that's where I get excited about. Imagine at the end the thing you would be really so bummed to yourself about that you didn't do. That's the loss that I prefer to apply. I think
yeah,
we just have to keep rigging and keep trying and attacking ourselves from different angles in order to get to the life that we might enjoy living. Because we have to override our tendencies. Our default settings are set to a really very dangerous homeostasis-like setting that will allow us to die slow, mundane deaths.
yes. Well, preach, Walter Mitty, preach. Yeah. Now I had this whole image of like when you said rigging, and I don't know what you said for that, but I was imagining like little existential pirates attacking our ship that's just not doing enough. You know what
Oh,
I mean? Like we've got a boring ship, the pirates are coming, they're climbing up the rigging, and it's like cutlasses, muskets,
yeah.
muskets,
Yeah.
Paddle nine tails. I don't really know. I can't remember how pirates fought. But yeah, like this, like there needs to be a sense of urgency.
Mhm.
And even at least in this episode, quite a lot of violence in order to shake us out of our default setting. And yeah, I mean, I love that you
Yeah.
brought in prospect theory and aversion laws, loss aversion, right? I wasn't popping those up in my mind. Usually my mind does things like that. I can find stuff, but like you've got this deep knowledge now
Deep.
that you're going to share with us. Like,
So deep.
why do you think we are driven by loss aversion,
Mhm.
but not
Mhm.
aversion to the loss of our literal whole lives?
Right. Well, research says that that's just so incomprehensibly terrible and
Oh,
terrorizing to us, like, we can't fathom it. It's like the
mm,
biggest threat to the only thing we have, which is being alive, and we have a desire to continue living, and every now and then to contribute value, but some more than others, but that's so unfathomable, like, that is the ultimate, "I can't even think about not going on, so therefore, okay, then I won't think about it." Like, I think there's, like that's the supreme cloud, put that aside, right?
Yeah.
But then, like, this is where I think back to us being contradictory. We can not wanna lose something or be more motivated to not lose your investment that you got when you invested in Apple stock. For sure, more than you could if you angled to try and make more money, but you're right, we don't see it in the bigger picture. And that's where I guess just back to we can come back to it maybe in a different episode, we'll go deep into terror management theory, which was always so very scintillating. But
And apparently that Lucretius invented. I'm just saying. Not
hey,
Ernest Becker, whoever that guy was, but
right,
Lucretius.
early days, he planted seeds.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that manuscript lost for 1,300 years? Yes.
Yeah, was credit given? No.
No.
Ernest Becker, fucker. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, so we have the ultimate loss on our hands, and we don't seem so averse to it as we should. So maybe we're framing it wrong. When instead of we don't want to be afraid of death.
No.
Like, think how many piles of murder we'll have at that point.
Piles. Well, I think that most people can relate to the idea of procrastination with tasks. And
Yeah.
most people are very ashamed and upset about themselves for procrastinating. Are you a procrastinator?
I would love to be. I mean, honestly, I
What does
am
that mean?
so I'm so busy. I never wanted to do an honest day's work in my life. Trust me. When I was a kid, I was definitely a malingerer, right? Like, it's like, all right, do not tell my parents or anyone else. This is literally
Cool.
just between you and me, Jody. But like, I hated mowing the lawn. I really hated mowing the lawn. Okay, so I grew up in southwestern Minnesota in a terrible town, horrible, godforsaken place. Didn't have a lake,
It's a
which
great
is
for the
hard for anyone outside of
tourism
Minnesota
for
to understand what that means. If you don't have, I should have to explain this, but I will. If you don't have a lake, you don't have frozen water. If you don't have frozen water, you don't have kids growing up skating. If you don't have kids growing up skating, you don't have any kids playing hockey all the time. If you don't have kids
okay, but
playing hockey all the time, you might not have a high school hockey team. If you don't have a high school hockey team in Minnesota, you might also
might
be
be
like,
alive.
yeah, you're just a limb bouncing along behind a scared horse, like it's terrible. Yeah. So that's where we grew up. Basically looked more like South Dakota. No offense to South Dakota. A little offense to South Dakota since we were just 30 minutes away from them. Than it did like Minnesota. So it was bleak, horrifying. Where am I going with this? Yeah. And one of the things that also made it horrifying was that I had to mow the lawn. uh,
Life's getting better.
yeah. Our house had this very long wall. There's pretty big lots because it's rural, right? So you're not fighting for space. And it would take hours to mow this stinking lawn. And we had this one long wall that faced south, so it'd get nice and warm in the summer. And the grasshoppers loved that. So the wall would be just covered in grasshoppers. And we didn't have like landscaping over there. So you're supposed to mow flush. And it was like, they're just like bouncing off me, getting that tar on me, their little clingy little
Oh,
snaggy little arms all over the place. I'm like not okay with grasshoppers at this point in my life. Right? So would push the lawnmower as far as I could, and would kind of like go straight for a while, then veer off, and then I have to run back in and like push it again. That's how I was trying to. I mean, I have like swarms of locusts everywhere, and that's how I'm trying to push it. That's how I'm trying to mow it. I'd have to do that like many times because it would not go in a straight line. So that was the lawnmowers. Like they used to have lawnmowers that would just keep running if you took your hands off them. There were no safety
okay.
features, right? They were meant to like, essentially run over the family
Go over
cat.
the street.
Yeah. So then that one crapped out in part because I would put sand and dirt in the gas tank, hoping it would clog.
So you didn't have to mow.
Yeah. And so I got my wish. Eventually the lawnmower broke and I got like 3 weeks off from lawn mowing.
Oh,
And then we had to buy a new lawnmower. And this one had the grabber. So then when I would go to when I would push the lawnmower, it would cut off immediately. And so I had to like actually be there like mowing like this and
yes.
like
Trying not to get attacked. This is a fabulous story. Again, so obscenely and grotesquely visual. This whole
no,
conversation
no,
is giving me major heebie-jeebies.
yeah.
So you You
So
could
I'm by nature a malingerer.
by
Yeah.
nature, you want to avoid the work, but you got so much work now that you don't even have the luxury of procrastinating because the deadline's always just here
Yeah.
tomorrow?
My
Okay.
life is 100% deadlines and things I'm supposed to do for people.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of it's very important.
Yeah.
But would I like slink off and not do some of it if I could? I
Mhm.
mean, I think, yeah, I would
Okay,
like
so
to
you could relate?
contemplate more, look at stuff a little bit longer, not always
Yeah.
be frantic.
So you wanna slow down and be able to procrastinate. Isn't that a funny thing? Like, procrastinating for you
Yes.
would be a luxury. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a whole other oh my god, this makes me I have to write an article on this immediately. But before we'll wrap up the show.
Specimen A,
Yeah,
2-meter tall
yeah.
American
We
male
don't
with
know who he
a
is,
mere
but he's
78 years left on his clock.
yep, but he has all his limbs. So, most people, have the ability to procrastinate and do it and feel badly about themselves, and then but we at least acknowledge, "Wow, this deadline got me to do it." And I
Yeah.
might have come
Yeah.
skidding in sideways into the deadline in order to get my taxes in or my proposal to the
So
client
true.
or the assignment for class or, whatever the boss needs, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we
For
know
sure.
we need it. And so that is the ultimate example of we know we then therefore would benefit from the death deadline. And so then here's another question for you, which is very gruesome and awesome. It is. If you could find out the exact date of your death, would you want to know it?
Yeah.
You said that quite quickly with assuredness. You've thought about this before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I could find that out. Now if I could, like, you go to the doctor's like, "You've got somewhere between 2 weeks and 6 months to live."
Hmm.
And at least this is how it works as far as I know. I've not been told that, but you can pay extra money. You can just, like, start forking over $100 bills, and that probability range gets smaller because they know the true dates clearly. And so you just keep paying them, and eventually you get the, like, after
That's a hot
$100
tip
bills.
again.
This is the
So
American, healthcare system that's designed to work that way, Jody.
it's
Don't be naive.
it runs off $100 bills. Okay.
$100 bills. If you want better healthcare, you have to have a pocket full of $100 bills. Like, try it sometimes. This is a tip for all viewers. Like,
I
yeah,
God, I didn't know this. This is so helpful.
yeah,
So if you could find
mm,
out though, and I know that one example is like, oh, I'm not talking you go to the doctor and you find out terminal cancer, you've got 7 to 12 months left to live. I guess I'm just sort of thinking like
get that
it's
down to like 8 months and 4 days if you paid like $1,500 and
again,
$100
thank
bills.
you. This is
Yeah,
so helpful. I'm thinking like you get to find out it's August 19th, 2049.
yeah,
Sort of like the magic, whatever, eight
it's
ball
probably
that
what it
tells you.
is. Someone should put a pin in that.
Put a pin in that. That
I, I really want to know. 2049
this,
sounds
I
good to
mean,
me. I mean, that's like far
it's
enough in the
likely.
future that I can hardly even imagine being alive that much longer. So yeah,
Okay. So if
any of
that
us.
was your date, right now the Grim Reaper is just noting it in his
Ooh,
notepad.
plus one of my favorite movies had the reboot, Blade Runner 2049. That's probably that probably is gonna be when I die, when that movie finally comes true, just like
Right.
I died in 1982 when the first movie came out.
First one. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, surveys have been done from Americans. And what percent of people do you think say that they would like to know the date versus not?
I hope you have information in other countries as well,
No,
becau
I
okay.
only have America. It's a YouGov poll of
Well, in
America.
America, you don't even say it you don't say it right. This is
Shit,
clearly
it's because
showing
I'm
your
not American.
Canadian. America, America,
How do
America.
America.
Pretty good. But
Okay,
you gotta
but
really,
not
like,
Mar. I was doing Mar, not Mer.
you gotta, like, "Ugh,
Rural.
America, America,
Okay.
America." Yeah, so what percentage? Because Americans have a reputation of being not great at dealing with reality, right? Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
and being maybe not the most mature culture on the planet. I mean, we're not that old. So I'm gonna say that the average person
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the average country is looking like maybe 50-50, and I think the Americans are probably 36.8% want to know.
Wow, you're pretty all right. So 25 to
Someday
35.
you can be pretty all right if you get a PhD and work in a professor job for 20 years. You could maybe be all right. Pretty all right.
Is that
Not
Kenny
even all
Loggins?
right, just pretty all right. Fuck yeah.
Kenny
I'm pretty all
Loggins,
right. Okay.
original. 25 to 35% of Americans say that they would like to know, and the rest say they don't want. But then even when pressed, when people are like, "Okay, yeah, you wanna know, you wanna know?" And then it's one of those, now they start to head for the hills because
They
it's,
want to
"Oh,
be seen as someone who's tough enough that they can handle knowing. This is
oh,
my hypothesis.
that's fascinating." So you think that there's a bit of like a bravado with being like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I know my date."
Yeah. I want to look death right in the face when you come for me.
You made
I'd
like a
be
Clint
like,
Eastwood face there.
I'd be like,
Yeah.
there's so many ways that tough people smoke in the movies. I really don't know the
Yeah, you have to pick
best one,
one
but
and stick with it.
if you do this one though,
That
then you can
looks like
flick
a
it away.
joint.
You can flick it away. That's the key. If you do this one, then it's like you got. I don't know. I think you have to do more shit to flick it away. So this is the one I'm doing.
Okay.
Been expecting you. Let's do this. Right. I
Back
think people want to be that person, male or
Well,
female
what
or
you wanna
both.
be clearly is in the theater again, and then secondly, I think you're right, people like the idea, but when you
Yeah.
kinda make it concrete and you pick a number or a year, then all of a sudden when it's framed as, like, concrete, it's, "Oh, but no." And maybe some of it has to do with religiosity, like, some of it could be maybe that, "Oh, it's the Lord Jesus tells me when I go, I don't wanna mess with that boy,"
Yeah. Jodi, in addition to predicting my date of death, I think you predicted yet another awesome episode we have to do.
which
Doomsday
is
cults and
I'm sorry,
doomsday cults and apocalypse celebrators. The people who go up on the hill for the spaceship or Jesus to come zap them in the end times. Like the people
done.
who are deep into the end times. Heaven's Gate. Remember those cool Nikes they used to wear before they poisoned themselves? Like very cool stuff. Yeah. We got to
I
get into
love
that.
this. And in that same episode, we can talk about the best ways to look cool smoking. We'll nail that too.
Only when you look death straight in the eye.
Straight in the eye. Okay.
Otherwise, there's no not cool way to smoke.
I see.
Yeah. In case RJ Reynolds, if that company still exists, wants to sponsor us.
Well, whether one believes it is cool or religiously right or whatever your belief is about the idea of finding out the date, I think that like that's the heart of what we're talking about is like
Yeah.
if knowing your deadline helps you to live in a way that is more intentional. And you could say, because you've used the word urgency before, which I think is true, except I never like thinking that it adds to like anxiety to
Yeah.
life, but I think it's like in the right dosage that's necessary. But
Yeah.
back to the deadline, back to the procrastination, I think that that's the construct that can help us to be like, oh, I get shit done because I have a deadline. Oh, maybe I would actually live and figure out all the other messiness about not wanting to make changes in my life because I've already invested too long in this thing or that thing or whatever. We could figure all that. I think we would figure
Mhm.
all that out with a lot more verve if
Mm.
we knew we had 12 years and 17 days left and 3
Yeah.
hours, rather than just this notion of like, my grandma lived till 103.
I love that a lot because I think it creates a kind of maybe creates a little bit of a system, like a little
Mm,
bit of a provocation that is potentially even helpful, God forbid.
yeah.
Right? Because the like let's imagine you are like, okay, I'm taking all this on board now.
Mm,
I'm going to live with a sense of urgency, not a freak out urgency, but let's not procrastinate on
mhm,
this life. And I'm going to harken back to what Jody said about, you want to think about the things that you would really regret not doing in
mhm,
your lifetime on your deathbed, the things you regret not doing more so than the things you might regret having done. You didn't say that part, but like that's the trade-off, right?
mm,
Um, so now if we know that it's 12 years,
mhm.
7 months, give or take a few months, unless you've got $100 bills, then the doctor will actually tell you, right? And then you're like, okay, so I need to work backwards from there. The bucket list thing, like if you don't really know what you want to do with your life, you got a bucket list. The bucket list tells you what to do with your life. It says do the bucket list, right? You know, if you do know what you want to do with your life, you have to decide how much of that stuff you really want to get done.
Mm,
And then you also have to figure out what you're willing to sacrifice in other domains, right?
mm.
So we can't do everything. So we have to make these trade-offs.
Yeah.
But if we don't know when we're gonna die, we've only got like $20 bills. And the
Mm,
doctor's just like, science isn't really there yet, blah, 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 all this crap they tell us. Right? Then we don't know when we're going to die. It still kind of gives us a sense like we can work back from some imagined endpoint, right? Whatever that's going to be, and then work our way back. Like, okay, so is there anything in there that you can't have missing between now and whatever that
mhm.
fuzzy deadline is? You don't know the deadline, you just know it's coming. Like, what are the things that by then, whatever that date is, you need to have done? Can you prioritize them? What does it cost you to do the highest priority thing that you're wheezing out your last breath? And you're like, oh, cannot believe I never saw E.T. And I
Oh,
can't believe I never saw Kid and Play. Was that Friday? Was there a movie Kid and Play? No, House Party. Kid and Play's House Party. I can't believe I never saw that.
I don't even know what you're talking about, but I'll write it down somewhere.
Viewers, kid
Okay.
had the really tall hair. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. You're making me think in a really different way about so much of what I like to talk about and read about and write about. And it's this idea about, living like we mean it until poof, we're gone, we die.
Yeah. Poof.
The idea of the bucket list feels manageable, and I think that's safer. Like, again, that's language people have found to talk about with
Mm-hmm.
like a little nod to death, kick the bucket, but those are tasks and like things that would be cool to do. It's like more pleasure, and I'm all for that. Awesome. And it goes back to the question you asked a little bit ago, which is like, do people know what they want to do? There's also like the bigger stake stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not always about the bucket list of a cool place to travel or where you wanna go hang gliding, It's like, oh, like a way of being or a big decision in your life about how you wanna spend it or that you wanna live off the grid, which again may not work with the other people in your life or so I want us to leave room to talk more about that. Not now, we'll solve everything else other than that right now, but that,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
there's like the fun and frothy items, and then there's the ways of being that are often probably scarier, right?
Yeah. 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 It's always gonna create a conflicted space, I believe.
Mhm.
Right. And I do think actually drawing and quartering is like that space because there's things that we have to give up, left leg, maybe. There's things that we want and
Yeah.
have to pursue, right leg,
Yeah.
right hand, arm. Then there's things that we could do quickly,
Mhm.
right? Going on a trip doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
But then
Woohoo,
there's
let's
things
get and
that would,
live.
yeah, there's things that would take a long time, right? So there's some things we'd have to give up that take a long time to build. There's some things we have to give up that don't take that long, right? There's some things we really want to do that take a long time to achieve, and there's some things that we really want to do that hardly takes any time at all, right? So there's going to be conflicts in all those spaces. You might have to give up things that took a long time to get to: professional reputation,
Mhm. Hmm.
networks,
Mhm.
however many
Financial
spouses you've
security.
accumulated at that point.
Yeah.
How, of course, all of your mega yachts and the things that fancy schmancy people just
Mhm.
happens to have on hand.
Your
Ingots,
identity.
your identity.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So something's going to have to give. And
Mhm.
it's deeply personal, I think,
Mm.
what the pain tolerance is.
Mhm.
Because it's not only like, let's say I'm going to give up
Mhm.
my job.
Mhm.
as a professor. It's not
Mhm,
only me who's gonna feel that loss, it's
mhm,
all of those precious little students and the
mhm.
little minds
Yeah,
that,
that are gonna go
will miss
empty.
me so badly
I know.
when they come to class every once in a while, I won't be there,
Yeah.
right? It's just like other people that our lives have some impact on other people.
Mhm,
Sometimes it's overstated, sometimes it's underappreciated, right?
mhm.
Um, there's a show on Netflix streaming recently, you know, call us Netflix a sponsor. Of course, we have great ideas for shows, me and Jody. One's about death, as you can imagine. But yeah, I think it's called The Four Seasons. Is a remake of the old Alan Alda movie, and Steve Carell's character is like tired of his marriage. Reasons are alluded to. Probably feels a little predictable, right? Like the Thanatos urge. It's like
Hmm.
seems like it's pretty much he's like, This has been like this for too long. I'm going to destroy it." Boom,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And the show, in a lot of ways, is him not realizing what those actions did to other people and not
Mm.
even letting it be on board. That's how I read it, right? Like
Mhm.
he has a much younger girlfriend. Great. Date whoever you want, whatever their ages are, blah, 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 as long as it's legal and consensual and there's no power dynamics and blah, 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 right? Didn't seem to be, I think she was his dentist or something, right? So, but he wants all of his friends to approve of everything he does, including his daughter, including his ex. Like he's just, it was clearly just about his trip, right? So sometimes we miss out on what our changes might do to people.
Mhm.
Other times we might overestimate it, right? Like how many kids in America or adults came from families that got a divorce at some point?
Mhm.
Probably a lot since
Mm.
what, half of marriages end in divorce. I don't know how many of those marriages had kids. There's another chunk does ends informally. There's all the cheating and like blah blah blah, right? So like most
Yeah.
yeah, so there's got to be a lot of perfectly awesome people out there who survived divorce, right? So if he had just treated that as a mature person, probably all those people have been like, "This is new, this is weird, but we're gonna survive. Yeah, whatever. There's something coming next," right? So it's like
Mhm.
pushing, like they're getting over focused. So I don't know. Now there's like, what is it when you also tie horses to two more parts of the body, the head and junk? I guess drawing and sex sorting doesn't sound right.
I think that's exactly it.
Yeah, we've got two more dimensions, right? Like, who pays the cost?
Right. That is so fascinating, and you're highlighting, I think, where many people get stuck, and it's not just the optics and, like, judgment of other people, like, what would they think? It's that I have other people attached to my life, and I think that is we have to reserve this as a bigger conversation, because I think it happens in small things, and then it goes to big things,
Yeah.
that even
I think we're up in that space of, like, little things we can do
right.
that
It
don't take
yeah.
too long, don't cost too much. We're like, "Blue,
Well,
oh my gosh,
yeah, it's
I saw the Shroud of Turin." I don't know why that? Why that? Why the fuck that? I don't know.
that was
I
very
met
specific and random.
I met Charlie Day. No one, I mean, who cares?
It doesn't matter.
I
Well, I
didn't,
do
that's
think
on my bucket list.
that little things like, um, I see this a lot about people that wanna go travel, but they've got a partner. They're like, "Oh, but I can't. Like, I don't
I
wanna hurt
can't.
their feelings." Oh, and then or even how to spend a Saturday. Like, you could buck the system and still, like, go do it solo or
Yeah,
there or even, like you said, sometimes we over index or under we have to get a real grip on who is going to be affected, how much does that matter really, and what is the cost if you make a change anyways? Because I think that, like, back to trade-offs, whether it's trade-offs of your limbs or whether it's trade-offs of aspects of relationships. Because I think you're onto something. This is what's some of the biggest stuff that holds people back. Holds
yeah,
me back too. Yeah, these are real things. Hmm,
yeah. I mean, I feel like we solved it pretty well. Um,
yeah.
all of
I think
that.
you solved it when it came down to the quartering. It
Well,
all just
sex sorting.
yeah.
So the head and the
Yeah.
junk are involved also. Actually, honestly, oftentimes the head and the junk might be pulled in different directions. Let's just be fair. Probably more often than the right arm and the left leg. Like anyway, that's probably more allegory than we need right now. But
No, I think it's excellent.
you
It's
think it's
good.
right, just the right amount of allegory.
It is.
But yeah, I feel like this is going to be the thing, right? So I'm an overthinker. I'm a
Mm,
simulator, a planner. I love running mental models. If I did this, that would happen to like nth
mhm,
degrees of complexity. So I don't even know what I'm
mm,
talking about anymore. I can't even solve medium Sudoku, right? Like
mm.
I give up. Like I'm like, that could be a 4 or 2. I guess I'm done. Anyway, but I can think forever as long as it means I don't have to do anything. I can be like, well, if I did this, then da da do do, and then that da da dee, and then butterfly effect, and like, then there's a
Exactly.
hurricane that wipes out New Orleans, and I didn't even get my last beignet, whatever it is, right? Like, so that should be something. How do we shit or get off the pot, fish or cut
Yeah.
line, whatever? Like, how do we do it?
Right. Right. Making changes in life, whether they're just teeny tiny ones that feel big or whether it is absolutely blowing it up.
Yeah,
It's
you and
worth
me, we have to shit or get off the pot. We have to tell people how to like resolve when we're stuck, even if we're stuck for really good reasons.
So I think it has to involve then real life commitment and accountability. So like I'll say I'm stuck on this thing and then I have to do it.
And that's gonna be an episode, a future episode? You and I are gonna reveal all the things that
Yeah.
we're not doing?
Yeah, or at least like one at a
That
time.
sounds really great. I can't wait for that one. Count me in.
And we never came back.
And it was a
Excellent.
solo show. Episode 4 was just Jody.
Oh, where'd Mike go? I don't know, but
We
he's
don't
in a
know.
ball somewhere curled up.
We
So
don't.
the moral of the story clearly is that we wouldn't have talked about any of these things mattering unless we knew that the shadow of death was
Yep.
coming in hot and heavy.
And all we have, as far as we know, is the thing that comes next. The moment, the day, the hour, the month that comes next. So whatever it is that's gonna make our lives stand up to the frantic fear of death, feel worthwhile, it probably needs to start showing up in our lives reasonably soon because that's what we have.
Strangely motivated.
Let's go do this. I don't know
Imagine.
what, but like, I kind of feel like I could take up welding now. Let's go. Oh my God, I did it again. I resolved never to say, let's go. That would really change my life and many people's lives for the better.
Whatever. Your students, your family,
Yeah.
your
Now
friends.
I do think that my final message, because I think we're getting down to it, and we've really pretty much solved quite a lot again. We'll solve all the rest as soon as we press stop record. But like, if there's one thing that I could do, and this is requires help, so I'm humbly asking. I don't know if this ever was a phrase, but if it was, I want to bring it back. Harshen my nards. That's I would feel so good if I was walking down the street and I saw someone with a T-shirt that said "Stop harshing my nards." I would know I could go.
Hey, Mike, I really think that this could be it.
Let's do it.
Let's go.